More than 2,000 years ago, during China's spring and autumn period, the ancient philosopher Confucius attended a grand year-end sacrificial ceremony held by the state of Lu. The ceremony was conducted to give thanks to heaven, earth, and the agricultural deities for their blessings, to pray for abundant harvests, peace and prosperity for the nation, and protection from natural disasters. After the ceremony, Confucius and his disciples ascended the terrace of the ancestral temple to enjoy the view. Filled with a sense of peace and contentment, they looked out over the surrounding landscape. At that moment, Confucius suddenly let out a deep sigh. His disciple Zio, standing beside him, asked in puzzlement, "Master, why do you sigh?" Confucius replied, "I was not fortunate enough to live in the age of great harmony, Datong, when the world was shared by all under heaven, nor in the flourishing eras governed by the wise rulers of the Xia, Shang, and Zhou dynasties. Yet these are the ages for which my heart has always longed." He then continued, "When the Great Way prevailed, the world belonged to everyone rather than to a single family or ruling house. People of outstanding virtue and ability were chosen to govern. Honesty was valued, and harmony prevailed among the people. Therefore, people not only honored and cared for their own parents, but also respected the parents of others. They not only loved their own children, but also cared for the children of others. The elderly lived out their lives in comfort. Adults had opportunities to make full use of their talents. Children grew up healthy and well cared for. Widowers, widows, orphans, the destitute, people with disabilities, and those suffering from illness were all provided for by society. Every man had suitable work, and every woman had a secure home. People valued material goods and did not wish to see them wasted, yet neither did they seek to hoard them for personal gain. Everyone was willing to contribute his or her abilities, not for private profit but for the common good. Because of this, deception and intrigue had no opportunity to arise. Theft, robbery, rebellion, and other crimes did not occur. People left their doors unlocked at night without fear for their safety. Such a society was called the Society of Great Harmony, Datong. After a pause, Confucius sighed once more and said, "Now, however, the Great Way has faded away. The world is no longer shared by all, but has become the possession of individual families and ruling houses. People care only for their own parents and love only their own children. They accumulate wealth and labor diligently primarily for their own benefit. Political authority is passed down through hereditary families, and this hereditary order has become institutionalized through the system of rights. Thus, cities are protected with walls and moats, while rituals and moral principles are employed to preserve social order. The rights regulate the relationship between ruler and minister, strengthen the bond between father and son, promote harmony among brothers, and foster mutual respect between husband and wife. They establish social institutions, define property boundaries, honor the virtuous, the courageous, and the wise, and reward people according to their achievements. Yet precisely because the world has become privately possessed, people increasingly resort to strategy and political maneuvering, and warfare has become frequent and unending. Yu of Xia, Tang of Shang, Qingwen of Zhou, Qingwu of Zhou, Qingqing of Zhou, and the Duke of Zhou, these 6 enlightened rulers all emerged during this age. Each of them faithfully upheld the rights. They used ritual to uphold righteousness, won the trust of the people through sincerity, openly corrected wrongdoing, promoted benevolence and mutual respect, and taught the people the proper standards of conduct. Anyone who violated these rights and moral principles, no matter how high his position, would be removed from office. The people regarded such individuals as bringing calamity upon the state. Such a society was called the Society of Moderate Prosperity, Shaokong. The dialogue between Confucius and his disciple Zio clearly expresses the historical outlook and political ideals of Confucius, the founder of Confucianism. In Confucius' view, the Society of Great Harmony, Datong, where the world is shared by all, was a just, harmonious, and highly desirable ideal society. However, he believed that such an age had already passed and could never be restored. The realistic goal for later generations was therefore the Society of Moderate Prosperity, Shaokong, a society founded upon ritual propriety, li, and guided by moral principles. In the Shaokong society, the system of rights serves to regulate the relationship between ruler and minister and thereby maintain political stability. It emphasizes family ethics, highlights the responsibilities and kinship ties among family members, and promotes benevolence, courtesy, and mutual respect so that people understand the proper standards of conduct. Yet institutions alone are not sufficient to ensure that rights and moral principles are faithfully observed. A well-ordered society also requires its members to possess virtuous character and to live harmoniously under the influence of traditional values such as loyalty, filial piety, benevolence, and righteousness. In Confucian thought, the root of all these ethical virtues is filial piety, Shao. The well-known Chinese saying, "It takes 10 years to grow trees, but 100 years to cultivate people," has been passed down for centuries. It originated from the political philosophy of the statesman Guanzhong about 2,700 years ago. He argued that cultivating the moral character of the people through ritual and music, guiding them toward virtue, and thereby creating a peaceful and harmonious society is a long-term investment whose benefits far surpass those of material construction alone. Confucianism teaches that filial piety is the root of benevolence. Filial piety is not only the foundation of benevolence but also the first ethical value that every person encounters and learns. A person's moral character is formed first and foremost within the family, and filial piety has traditionally been regarded as the cornerstone of family education. From this perspective, humanity's ability to accumulate and transmit culture through family education and across generations is one of the principal reasons civilization has endured. The ancient Chinese primer three-character classic, Sanzi Jing, begins by emphasizing the importance of early childhood education, reflecting the high value that traditional Chinese society placed on family upbringing. Today, despite unprecedented material prosperity, early childhood education, especially within the family, deserves even greater attention, for it is during these formative years that character, moral values, and one's worldview are largely established. The ancient Chinese saying, "Among the three forms of unfilial conduct, leaving no descendants is the gravest," has long been interpreted in different ways. Viewed in the broader context of Confucian filial piety, however, having no descendants concerns not only the continuation of the family lineage but also the transmission of filial values from one generation to the next. The essential meaning of filial piety is that children respect, obey, care for, and support their parents. Likewise, parents hope that their children will establish families of their own and have children, thereby continuing the family line and passing on the tradition of filial piety to future generations. When children have descendants, parents are freed from one of their greatest concerns and gain peace of mind, while the family lineage continues. For this reason, in traditional society, a child's marriage and the birth of children were regarded not only as major milestones in the child's life but also as matters of profound importance to the parents. In this sense, bringing peace of mind and happiness to one's parents is itself an important expression of filial piety. Thus, filial piety has been transmitted continuously from generation to generation throughout human history. Today, humanity enjoys a material standard of living far higher than at any other time in history. Yet a global survey conducted by the United Nations Population Fund, UNFPA, found that financial burdens, job insecurity, and housing costs are the primary reasons young people postpone or forego marriage and childbearing, with 72% of respondents identifying these as the most important factors. While economic pressures are undoubtedly significant, they alone do not fully explain the persistent decline in fertility rates around the world. The deeper causes may lie in the gradual transformation of people's values, worldview, and philosophy of life. As society has evolved, people's lifestyles have changed dramatically. Families have become smaller, and contact with grandparents and extended family members has steadily diminished. Many people now see their parents only during holidays, and family bonds have consequently weakened. At the same time, social networks have expanded, and people's focus has gradually shifted from family life to the broader society. Many parents entrust the education of young children primarily to schools and other social institutions at an increasingly early age, while the importance of family education has received comparatively less attention. Modern society is characterized by an unprecedented flow of information and a wide variety of competing ideas and ideologies. Because children and adolescents have limited life experience and their values are still developing, those who lack strong family guidance and cultural foundations are more susceptible to outside influences. As the ancient Chinese primer three-character classic, Sanzi Jing, states, if children are not properly educated, their nature will be shaped by whatever influences surround them. Early education affects not only a person's character but also his or her worldview, values, and understanding of family and social responsibility. As younger generations become increasingly detached from traditional culture, their understanding of family, marriage, childbearing, and intergenerational responsibility may also change. For many, personal freedom and self-fulfillment have become life's highest priorities, while the importance of family has gradually diminished. Consequently, they may find it more difficult to appreciate the joy of family relationships, the sense of belonging that family provides, and the responsibility and inner fulfillment traditionally associated with filial piety. In recent years, an increasing number of young people have chosen not to marry or have children. This trend deserves careful reflection. It affects not only demographic sustainability and economic development but may also indicate profound changes in family values and cultural continuity. The family is not merely the most fundamental unit of society, it is also the primary institution through which values, moral principles, and cultural traditions are transmitted from one generation to the next. Ethical virtues such as filial piety, responsibility, compassion, and mutual support are first learned and practiced within the family. If the family's educational and cultural role continues to weaken, the transmission of these traditional values will inevitably face growing challenges. Human society will not lose its order simply because family structures evolve. Nevertheless, if family education continues to decline and the sense of intergenerational responsibility continues to fade, social trust, cultural identity, and civic responsibility may all be weakened. How to strengthen family cohesion in modern society, place greater emphasis on early childhood education within the family, and creatively preserve and transmit the finest elements of traditional culture in a changing world may well become one of the most important challenges facing societies today.